I've been watching Ole Miss all season, but especially in this game against South Carolina, I was like, man, they just keep giving Kewan Lacy the ball time and time again. He must be towards the top in the SEC in terms of total carries. He's actually first in the SEC right now by 30 carries. Ahmad Hardy's in second, and Kewan Lacy has carried the ball 189 times in 2025. That is the most in America. Nobody's ran the ball more than Kewan Lacy, and he's averaging 4.6 yards per carry, which doesn't jump off of the screen. To me, it should. The amount of volume that Kewan Lacy's been getting and the fact that he's been as productive as he has been, I think is very, very impressive, and he's been a big part of the reason why Ole Miss is 8-1. So we're going to take a look at some clips against South Carolina, and what really stood out to me in this game is Kewan Lacy's ability to just go 4 carries in a row, back to back to back to back, and be effective in every single one, which is massive. I mean, when you look at the stats, Trinidad Chambliss, the quarterback, has the second most rush attempts on Ole Miss. Right now, Logan Diggs has 20 carries on the entire season. Kewan Lacy's averaging 21 carries per game. How impressive is that, the amount of volume that Kewan Lacy's been handling? And he hasn't slowed down a single bit. And we're going to see that in this exchange coming up in just a little bit, where he takes 4 carries in a row, back to back to back to back. And you got to know, watching Ole Miss live, they go very fast. No huddle offense. Not a whole lot of time for Kewan Lacy to put his hands on his hips and recuperate. He's not going to the sideline on the life cycle, getting ready for the next carry like a lot of other running backs across the country is. These next 4 carries are all back to back to back to back. This first one's a 7-yard carry. I love the lateral agility that Kewan Lacy has. Is right here, his ability to go right, left, and then just put his foot in the ground and get upfield, and then how physical he finishes these runs. He adds about 2 yards a carry every single run just by the way that he's able to fall forward, and that all starts with his frame, with how strong of a football player Kewan Lacy has. So that's 2 in a row. This third one was very impressive, and watching this live, I was like, wow, that was 3 really good carries for Kewan Lacy. That's about 21 yards he just picked up in 3 carries. Now, get him out of the game, let him recuperate, let him get back to 100%. Kewan Lacy did not come off the field. This is the 4th play right here. And look at his ability to just keep his feet, the contact bounce that Kewan Lacy has, how strong of a football player he is, and then the way that he just finishes this run. These last 4 runs that we watched, I'm not bullshitting. These were back to back to back to back in a Lane Kiffin, high-octane, high-tempo offense. No time for him to recuperate. This is just so impressive. This is one of my favorite things that I've seen this entire season. I've watched so much football on here, college football, high school football, and as much as I watch, I'm not really sure I see this that often with a running back at the college level being able to just take 4 carries in a row and be very effective in all of them. Usually by this 4th carry, you'll see a guy just kind of like go down at the first touch here, and you can see the way that Kewan Lacy bounces off of 2 tackles here. First, he just bounces this to the outside. He has that lateral agility to do that, and then he just runs through 1 or 2 arm tackles, and then gets caught downfield. So, man, I really can't. If you could tell, I'm pretty impressed. And then we're gonna see the long touchdown in a little bit, but yeah, that lateral agility for him, the way that he can just bounce these outside. This next one, here it is again. This was probably his 22nd carry of the game, and it looks like he just came off of the bench. I love Ahmad Hardy from Missouri. He's a great running back, and he's probably top 20 in carries in the entire country right now. But when you think about who they have behind him, Jamal Roberts has been having a really good season. It's a lot easier for him to be effective because he's at 100% a lot more often than Kewan Lacy is. Ole Miss has been leaning on Kewan Lacy, and as a sophomore, I think he's been so impressive. And this was the long touchdown here. We'll watch it just one more time. This was pretty much the nail in the coffin that sealed South Carolina's fate in this Ole Miss game. And we got one more carry here that happened on the last possession of the game. And this is probably his 23rd carry, 24th carry in this game. Looks like he just came off the bench. Looks like he's been on the life cycle the whole game. Hasn't been tackled all game. Not the case. But yeah, Kewan Lacy's been so impressive. If you want a place to store all your draft evaluations or even just look at any other college football players across America and see what other people think about them, please check out we-draft.com. Thanks for watching.